Hi, I'm Sarah Intonato. I am sitting here in my brand new, fabulous beanbag chair, courtesy of the folks over at Mandala Yoga in Amagansett, who helped me organize this for myself. And I'm going to give people a moment or two before we start on our topic of what to do when you've lost your inspiration, which I think is a really important topic. To let people get in the room and get comfortable and get ready to ask questions, which I'm happy to answer. But I love to sort of disrupt the conversation of, look at me on social media, I'm perfect, everything is great, because that's not real life. And I am a big believer that if you can make your yoga practice work for your real life, you'll be able to practice for a lifetime. And this is a crucial point. So as people get settled, have your questions ready because I'm happy to answer them. And I really want to make sure that this is a message getting through to you. So grab a drink if you need to, but I am stoked to get on this topic of what to do when you've lost your inspiration to practice. And this is something that can happen whether you're practicing in a studio all the time, even with a teacher. But it can also be something that happens especially when you're practicing yoga alone at home. And if you're an Ashtanga yoga practitioner or Mysore practitioner, there will likely be times where you're practicing on your own. But even if you're in a studio, when you're practicing with a teacher, there can be times where you are just feeling lost and feeling like you're not getting what you need. It's really important to, I think, first take a look at how you're showing up for what you're doing. And it can be sometimes as simple as we're getting to our mat, we're going through the motions, but we're not really applying ourselves. When that happens, one of the most powerful things you can do is right away reconnect to three things: your breath, your bandhas, your pelvic floor and navel locks, and your drishti, your focal point. If you're truly staying connected and mindful of these three things during your asana practice, you should not have any mental space to go anywhere. Your mind should be fully occupied from start to finish throughout. So it might just be that you're not feeling so inspired because you've let your mind go out to lunch a little bit. You're on your mat with your physical body, but your mind has gone someplace else. So it might be enough to simply bring your attention back to those internal parts of your practice, those things which people don't talk about a lot, those things which are hard to measure, those things which are definitely not glamorous to post about on social media. And that may be enough to cultivate that deeper sense of aliveness and passion and connection to what you're doing in the present moment. So if you give that a try the next time you practice and it makes a difference, great. Worst case scenario, you'll do it and you'll get benefit anyway. So that's not a bad thing. But there are other times where we do that and we're diligent in that and it's not enough. And as somebody who has practiced yoga at home for the better part of the last 15 years, with the exception of my once weekly trips to see my teacher, with the exception of my once annually trips to India to see my guru, Sharath Joyce, which won't even be happening for me this year, unfortunately, because it was a 2-month commitment that had to happen in order to attend, and I can't yet leave my kids for 2 months during Christmas time. So I won't be there in India this winter. So this means I'll be doubling down on things which bring me inspiration in my practice. But I know how hard it is when you're alone, especially, or even you're in a class and you're just feeling like something isn't connected, something isn't dialed in, the magic is not there. And when that happens, I think one of the most powerful things you can do in this moment to reinvigorate your love for your practice is to intentionally schedule something in your calendar which allows you to make your practice a priority. Maybe you have to block off a calendar day where everything you do is going to revolve around your practice. But that's going to allow you to see what it feels like when you're able to put more into your practice, and then you'll see more of your potential on the other side of it. And this is essentially what we do on a yoga retreat. So if you've ever been on a yoga retreat with me or with anyone else, you'll know that ideally you're eating, sleeping, revolving, everything that you're doing around your practice. You're having yoga philosophy classes. And on my retreats, yoga sutras are not an option. It's not an optional activity. You'll be meditating. You'll be doing your daily asana practice. You'll be eating things which help you to sustain your practice. You will be sleeping well. You will be tuning out all the extra noise which can get in the way of your practice. Often we start to lose our inspiration for our practice when we start feeling like it's something else on our to-do list. And if you have a family, if you have a career, probably you have a lot of interruptions at times, and it can feel really overwhelming to squeeze your self-care into that day. And yet when you do, you have so much more to give back to other people. You have so much more that has been replenished in you. And as a result, you're a better practitioner, you're a better spouse, you're a better worker, you're a better boss, you're a better anything. And when you've lost inspiration in your practice, it's a very slippery slope, because first it just starts off by your enthusiasm has waned, but then you can actually start to look at your practice as if it's a ball and chain. Why am I doing this? This gets in the way of my family life, or this gets in the way of my work. But really, when done properly, our yoga practice is meant to make us better at our work, to make us better in our day, whether it's being a householder, whether it's being a teacher, whether it's being a parent, whether it's being the boss of a Fortune 500 company. All of the above are correct. But we have to check our mindset as to how we are approaching our practice. So to me, if you blocking out time, whether it's one day or 1 month in your schedule, to immerse yourself in an inspirational place with a teacher to guide you, that's a crucial point. We try to lead ourselves, and we can do that well sometimes for a while, and then when we lose our inspiration, it's like the blind leading the blind. And we need somebody who has walked in our shoes to hold our hand and pull us out of our rut, or at least show us the way. And this is why I go to India every year. This is why I lead retreats for students of mine who aren't yet ready to step away for a month, but 1 week of them focusing on themselves allows them to be reinvigorated with their practice once again. And they go home and they don't look at their practice the same way anymore. They don't look at it as a ball and chain anymore, because they know that every moment spent on their mat makes them a better human being in every other facet of their life. This is what yoga is meant to do. It's meant to create relationship. It's meant to create connection. And if we approach it like a ball and chain or an energy suck, that's what we're going to get. So inspiration in your practice has to be a priority. And if you've lost it, don't judge yourself. Know that you're not alone. This is something that every practitioner goes through. And it's something that you, yes, you have the power to pull yourself out of. It might take some work. You might have to carve out time in your calendar where you're going to step away with the intention of making your practice a priority, maybe attending a practice intensive, maybe attending a retreat, maybe attending for a month at the KPJ AYI in Mysore, like I do. But something that is going to allow you to strengthen your physical and mental self, so that when you come home, you have more gasoline in the tank, you can keep going on your spiritual path, knowing it's going to help you in the long term. So if you have questions about this, I would love for you to write them in. I would love to answer them for you. I would love to hear what your struggles are when you're getting on your mat, especially if you're a home practitioner. You're not alone. And I would also love to tell you about a beautiful yoga retreat I'm leading this November in Sedona, Arizona, from the 5th to the 9th. And we're staying in a beautiful place. I will put the link in the comments below. But the reason I'm going to Sedona is not just because it's beautiful, not just because we're staying in a gorgeous place with amazing food, but because there's a natural vibration there of healing energy. It's home to an energy vortex, or vortices, several. It's home to Native American healing energy and history. And to do our practice and our spiritual work in a place which is already so rich and supportive of our inner journey is a really powerful experience. And I see that when I go to India every year, which is such a spiritual place. I saw it when I went to Peru last May, which I'll be going to again next year. And to be there in that energy where there's such a connection with nature and such a connection with your inner self already, before you even start your spiritual work, is so powerful. It almost feels like your time spent there is doubled. You start to manifest things so quickly. You start to heal so quickly. You feel so invigorated when you go home that you almost feel like a different person. And that's my goal, is providing a space for home practitioners who don't have access to a studio every day or can't be in a class setting to find a way to reinvigorate themselves, because no man is an island. We all need support on our journey. And I am honored to support people however I can, in the same way Being with My Guru supports me. So if you have questions, please drop them in the comments below. Thank you for tuning in. Please share this so that those friends of yours who need inspiration in their life all get through this with the support of one another. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.